The day my daughter stepped forward in that courtroom, holding the video to every lie Sebastian had told me, everything changed. I thought I knew the man I had spent 15 years of my life with, but the truth was deeper than I ever imagined. Now, I'm left facing not just the end of my marriage, but the shattering of everything I thought I knew about love, trust, and family. Can I rebuild? Or is the damage too great to overcome? Welcome to this story. Before we start, please hit that subscribe button, turn on the notification bell so you never miss a story, and drop a comment below to let me know where you're watching from. Your support means the world, and I'd love to hear your thoughts. The house felt too quiet this morning. I should have been used to it by now, the stillness, the absence of Sebastian's presence. The sound of his breathing, the shuffle of his feet across the floor, the quiet murmur of his voice in the morning. But now, it was just me, standing in the kitchen, watching the clock tick forward. Another day, another step closer to the end of everything. I don't know when exactly everything started to go wrong, but I can pinpoint the moment I stopped pretending everything was fine. That day, a few months ago, when I found the phone bill, the one with the strange number, the name I didn't recognize, my stomach had turned when I saw it, but even then, I didn't want to believe it. I couldn't. Because believing it meant admitting I had been blind for so long. That the man I had built my life with, the man I thought was my partner, had been lying to me for years. I let the kettle boil, the faint sound of bubbling water the only noise in the empty house. The smell of coffee filled the air, but it didn't smell the same anymore. It was no longer comforting. It was just hollow. I glanced down at the phone in my hand. A message from Charlotte, my daughter. My heart skipped. It was simple, too blunt, too heavy. She was always so careful with her words, but this one felt different. It sent a chill right through me. "I'm ready, Mom. I'm doing this for us." I stood frozen for a moment, staring at the screen. What did she mean? Ready for what? What did she know? I tried to push the panic down, but my breath caught in my throat. The weight of it all was unbearable. My hands trembled slightly as I put the phone down on the countertop. I tried to take a deep breath. The clock on the wall ticked on, each second making me more aware of the impending storm. Today was the hearing, the day that Sebastian and I would officially be torn apart. The end of everything I had ever known. And Charlotte, my darling girl, she was caught in the middle of it all. What was she going to do? I leaned against the kitchen counter, the tile cold under my palms, trying to steady myself. The house, our home, once filled with laughter, arguments, love, life now felt like a mausoleum. Everything had been slowly dying, little by little, over the past few years. The laughter had turned to silence, the love to indifference. And now I was here, standing in the remnants of what we used to be. I thought of Charlotte downstairs. I could hear the faint clink of dishes as she set the table. The sound of her moving about the kitchen seemed almost foreign to me now. My little girl, so full of life, so full of hope, and yet the weight of what she'd seen, what she'd felt, would be too much for her. I was supposed to protect her from this, wasn't I? But how could I protect her from Sebastian? From the man who had promised me everything, but had quietly, methodically destroyed us both. I grabbed my coffee, too hot to sip immediately, and walked over to the window. It was a gray morning outside, typical for London, really. The trees in the front garden swayed with the wind, leaves skittering across the pavement. A normal morning. The world outside carried on as it always had, indifferent to the turmoil inside my home. But then, that message. Charlotte's words echoed in my mind, spinning round and round like a sickening carousel. I'm doing this for us. I could feel a cold sweat creeping down my spine. What had she found? What did she know? She was just 14, but there was no denying it anymore. She wasn't a child anymore. She was wise beyond her years, forced to be when her world had been shattered by a father who didn't care enough to protect it. I took a deep breath and turned away from the window. My heart thudded in my chest as I walked back into the kitchen. I had to stay calm, for her, for Charlotte, for both of us. I glanced at the clock again, 8:15. The hearing was at 10. It felt like an eternity away, but I knew it would come too quickly. The end of everything. The beginning of the rest of our lives. The sound of Charlotte's footsteps came closer, and I looked over to see her standing in the doorway, her face a mixture of uncertainty and resolve. Her eyes, those eyes that had once been so innocent, were filled with a quiet strength now. She wasn't the little girl I once knew. I couldn't decide if that made me proud or terrified. She opened her mouth, as if to say something, but then closed it again. A hesitation, one that mirrored my own. There was so much I wanted to say to her, to comfort her, to promise her that everything would be all right. But the truth was, everything was broken, and I wasn't sure if we could ever fix it. "Mum?" she finally said, her voice softer than usual. I forced a smile, though it felt foreign on my lips. "Morning, darling," I said, my voice surprisingly steady. She raised an eyebrow, clearly seeing right through me. "Are you ready for today?" I paused, the weight of the question sinking deep into my chest. As ready as I'll ever be. She didn't look convinced. "Mum." Charlotte stepped closer, her eyes intense. "I want you to know something before we go. I'm doing this because I need to. It's not just for me. It's for you too. For us." I blinked, trying to keep my composure. "I don't understand, sweetheart. What do you mean?" Her eyes softened, but there was something in them that I couldn't quite place, something almost distant. "I know things, Mum. Things you don't know, I know. Things you haven't told me. And I can't keep pretending everything's fine when it's not. I have to tell the truth." The words hit me like a slap. My heart raced, and a cold dread settled over me. What had she seen? What had she found? Before I could say anything, she turned and grabbed her coat from the back of the chair. "I'm ready. I'm doing this for us, Mum, for both of us." And with that, she walked out of the kitchen, leaving me standing there, my pulse pounding in my ears. My mind raced, and my stomach churned. What was she going to do? The door shut behind her with a quiet thud, and I stood there, staring at the place where she had been just moments before. The world outside carried on, unaware of the storm that was about to break. But inside, everything was about to change. I had no idea what Charlotte had planned, but I knew one thing for certain: this was just the beginning, and I was about to lose everything, all over again. The sound of my heels clicking against the marble floor reverberates in the vast emptiness of the courthouse. Each step, a reminder of how far I've come from the woman I once was. I can still hear the echoes of the person I used to be, the hopeful wife who believed in the life Sebastian and I had built. But now, with every step I take, I feel that woman slipping further away. The walls around me seem to close in with every passing second. The air smells sterile, cold, like everything in this place is meant to strip away whatever humanity we still have left. I glance at the stone-faced bailiff as I walk past. There are no friendly faces here, just strangers, all of them witnesses to the unraveling of my life. Sebastian is already sitting at the front, his back straight, his face tight with the same calm facade he always wears when he's trying to keep his composure. His lawyer is beside him, looking every bit the professional, while his eyes dart nervously in my direction. I don't even look at them for long. I don't need to. I know him better than anyone, or at least, I thought I did. There's no sign of Catherine. Of course not. The woman who's been sleeping with my husband for the past 2 years hasn't deigned to show her face in the courtroom. She probably doesn't even know the gravity of what's happening today. I almost wish I could laugh at the absurdity of it all. Catherine, with her glossy hair and wide smile, thinks she's won. But she hasn't seen the storm brewing inside of me. I can feel it rising slowly, steadily, like a tide pulling me under. I'm not sure if it's anger or fear or something else entirely, but I can't deny the weight of it. I take my seat next to my lawyer, Jonathan Hale, a sharp-minded man with salt and pepper hair and a no-nonsense attitude. I catch his eye briefly, and he gives me a reassuring nod. I think he's trying to calm me, but I can't find it within myself to relax. Not today. Not when everything I've fought for is about to fall apart. The room is heavy with tension as the judge enters Judge Mulford. His face is impassive, his steps deliberate as he makes his way to the bench. He doesn't glance at anyone as he sits, his gavel coming down with a finality that seems to shake the very walls of the courtroom. "Order in the court," he announces in a deep, stern voice. "We're here today to settle the matter of Sebastian Hawthorne versus Eleanor Hawthorne, a divorce proceeding. Let's proceed with the evidence." His voice leaves no room for emotion, no space for anything other than the business at hand. It's as though we're all just pieces in a game he's long since grown tired of. I can feel Sebastian's eyes on me, but I refuse to meet his gaze. I don't need to look at him. I don't need to see the man who's betrayed me, who's broken our family. I've already said everything I need to say in the quiet of my heart. There's no more to be done. Today, I'm not just fighting for myself. I'm fighting for Charlotte, for our future, for the woman I've become, the one who will no longer tolerate being a victim. The proceedings start in a haze. Sebastian's lawyer presents his side, the typical statements about irreconcilable differences, the accusations about me being controlling, distant, as though I hadn't spent every waking moment trying to make our family work, as if I hadn't loved him with every fiber of my being, only to be met with cold indifference and deception. I zone out as his lawyer drones on, and instead, my eyes wander around the courtroom, the stained glass windows, the gray stone walls, the hushed whispers of onlookers in the gallery. Nothing seems real. It feels like a dream, a nightmare, perhaps. And then it happens. "Your Honor," the voice of Jonathan Hale cuts through my haze, and I snap back to reality. "We'd like to present our own evidence. The matter of Catherine Bennett has already been addressed, but there is something else that has come to light, something that requires immediate attention." I feel a sudden tightening in my chest. This is it. This is where everything changes. I don't know what Jonathan has prepared. He's been secretive, which only heightens my anxiety. I can't decide if I'm relieved or terrified that Catherine won't be here today. But there's no time to consider it, because something else is about to happen. "Charlotte," Jonathan says, turning to the door. I freeze. My heart stops for a moment. The door to the courtroom creaks open, and there she is, Charlotte. She steps in, her face carefully composed. She's wearing the same outfit she wore this morning, but there's something different about her. Something heavy in the way she carries herself. She's not my little girl anymore. No, she's something else. Something braver, something stronger. I can't breathe. Charlotte walks up to the front, a tablet clutched tightly in her hands. She doesn't hesitate, she's not scared, and that frightens me more than anything. She's taking control of this moment, and I don't know how to feel about it. Charlotte, darling, I whisper under my breath, my voice shaking. I want to call her back. I want to protect her, but it's too late. She's already made her decision. She stops in front of the judge, her eyes scanning the room before settling on me. For a brief moment, I see something there, something I can't quite place. It's not anger, not yet, anyway. But there's a kind of sadness in her eyes that cuts deeper than anything Sebastian has ever done to me. It's the pain of seeing everything unravel and knowing that she can't undo it. Charlotte doesn't say anything at first. She simply looks at me, her eyes full of quiet determination. Then she turns to the judge, her voice steady and clear. I have something to show the court. I don't know how to process her words. What does she mean? What is she about to reveal? My heart skips a beat, and I feel a cold sweat prickling on the back of my neck. Charlotte, I whisper, my voice trembling. But she doesn't hear me. She's already swiping the screen of the tablet, ready to show whatever it is she's brought with her. Whatever it is that could change everything. The room falls completely silent. The only sound is the soft clicking of her fingers on the tablet's screen. I lean forward, my pulse racing. What does she have? What is Charlotte doing? I murmur to Jonathan, barely able to keep the panic from my voice. Jonathan glances at me, his brow furrowed, his eyes wide with confusion and concern. I don't know, but I have a feeling it's something big. The world seems to stop as Charlotte presses the button on the tablet and the screen flickers to life. A hush falls over the room as everyone's gaze snaps toward her. I feel my throat tighten, my heart pounding in my chest. What has she found? What does she know? The room falls so still that I can hear my heartbeat in my ears, hammering relentlessly against my chest. My eyes are locked on Charlotte, who's standing at the front, the tablet in her hands like a weapon, an executioner's tool in this courtroom of silent witnesses. My breath is shallow, my throat tight, and the tightness in my chest refuses to go away. I don't know if I can bear what is coming next, but there's no turning back now. Charlotte taps the screen, and I see it, the first flicker of movement. The video begins to play. At first, it's all too familiar. The scene is set in a park, the kind of place Sebastian and I used to visit when Charlotte was younger. The footage is grainy, almost unrecognizable, but the figures are unmistakable. Sebastian and Catherine, standing in the shadows beneath the trees. They're talking, whispering to each other in that way they do when they think no one is watching. The camera shakes slightly as though it's being held by someone trying to be discreet, but it's clear enough for me to see them together, laughing, sharing private jokes. I force myself to keep breathing, to keep my composure. This is not new. This is not what I haven't already lived through. I've seen the signs, pieced together the scraps. I've known about the affair. Of course I have. He didn't even try to hide it at the end. I wasn't stupid. The phone bills, the late nights at work, the long business trips, the lies. The camera moves again, this time following them as they walk along the path. Their hands brush, then link together. Sebastian's arm slips around Catherine's waist, and for a moment, they're just two people in love. But they're not supposed to be, are they? Not like this. I feel it, a tightness in my chest, a pricking at my eyes. I squeeze my hands into fists, digging my nails into my palms. I will not cry. I will not break. This is what I've been preparing for, what I've known would come, the inevitable pain of knowing just how deeply Sebastian had betrayed me. He had moved on long before I ever realized. But then, as the video plays on, something shifts. A subtle shift in tone. A darker edge creeps into the frame. The footage jumps forward. Suddenly, Catherine and Sebastian are in a hotel room. The camera, much steadier now, pans across the room, his bedroom, it looks like, their bedroom. The same bed we once shared. I feel my breath catch. I can't look away, but I want to. I want to scream, but I don't. I can't, not yet. In the next scene, they're sitting together on the bed. Catherine leans forward, whispering something into Sebastian's ear, her hand slipping under his shirt. He doesn't pull away. He doesn't stop her. He seems to lean into her touch, his face alight with something I haven't seen in him in years. Something I once thought I was the only one capable of bringing out. I feel the blood drain from my face. The truth stings every time Sebastian smiles at Catherine, every soft murmur of affection that comes from his lips. I want to believe it's just an act, that it's nothing more than betrayal playing itself out in front of me, but there's no denying it. This isn't just an affair, it's something deeper. This isn't about sex or fleeting passion. This is about emotion. This is about connection. This is about him choosing her. The camera moves again, and this time, there's a shift. A sudden, sickening twist. The sound changes. It's more muffled, distant. A conversation I can't fully make out at first. But then, something catches my attention. A name. Mine. My own name. The camera pans to Sebastian. His face suddenly serious. He's whispering now, but I hear it clearly. I told her I would fix it, but I can't. It's all falling apart, Catherine. I don't know what to do anymore. Fix it. My heart skips. He's talking about me, about us. And yet, there's no regret, no apology. Just that hollow, empty confession he can't fix what's already broken, because he's the one who broke it. I wasn't enough. I was never enough. I hear the words like they've been etched into my soul. And then, the next part. It's so subtle, so almost imperceptible that I almost miss it. But when I hear it, I know I've heard something I wasn't meant to. Catherine says something cryptic, whispered, but it's enough to make my blood run cold. You'll need to tell her eventually, won't you, about Charlotte? My stomach lurches. What does she mean? What do they mean by that? I can feel my heart thudding painfully in my chest as the realization hits me with the force of a freight train. It's not just about the affair. It's about everything. It's about lies. Deep lies, things I never knew. Things they've been hiding from me for years. What haven't I known? What haven't I seen? The camera shifts again, showing more intimate moments between them, secrets that I never could have imagined, things I would never have dreamed of. The video goes on, and with each passing second, I feel like I'm being swallowed whole by a truth I couldn't possibly escape from. I thought I knew everything. I thought I had it all figured out. But this is something else. This is something darker. I thought I knew Sebastian. I thought I knew the man I'd spent 15 years of my life with. But now, I see him in a new light, a light I never wanted to see. I thought I knew everything, I whisper to myself, horrified. But I didn't. Before you continue listening, if you're enjoying the journey, don't forget to show me your support by subscribing. Your subscription means a lot. It helps keep these stories alive. And without you, there's no way I can continue sharing the twists, the turns, and the raw moments that speak to the heart. Please don't leave me hanging. Subscribe now. Thank you. The room is silent, the only sound the hum of the projector as the video ends, leaving only the faint glow of the screen. My throat is dry. I can't move. I can't breathe. I look at Charlotte. She's standing there, her face impassive, but there's something in her eyes, a quiet, painful understanding. She's not angry, not like I expected her to be. No, she's different. She's more composed than I could ever hope to be. She looks at me, her gaze piercing, and then, quietly, she speaks. "I knew, Mum," she says, her voice barely audible, but it cuts through the air with the force of 1,000 knives. "I knew before you did." The words hit me like a physical blow, knocking the wind out of me. My world tilts. Charlotte knew. How long had she known? What had she seen? I open my mouth, but no words come out. I don't know how to respond. I don't know how to face the truth of it, the truth that my daughter, my precious girl, had seen the cracks in our world before I ever did. That she had watched it all unravel, and yet she had stayed silent. What have I done to her? What have I done to us? The courtroom is silent, so silent that the sound of my own breath seems impossibly loud in my ears. The tension in the air is thick, almost suffocating. For a long moment, it feels like time has frozen, as if the entire room is waiting for something to break the stillness. And I am frozen in place, my mind spinning, my heart pounding against my ribs like it's trying to escape. Charlotte stands there, so composed, so steady, with the weight of something far older than her years in her eyes. And I am the one who's been blind. The shock of what just happened, what was just revealed, is too much to process in one go. How could I have not known? How could I have been so oblivious to the unraveling of everything I thought was true? My own daughter, the one person I thought I was protecting, had been carrying this burden for months, maybe longer. She had been watching the destruction of our family from the sidelines, knowing things that I never did. I look at Sebastian, and the guilt on his face is undeniable. His eyes are downcast, his shoulders hunched, like he's trying to shrink away from the weight of what's been exposed. But I can't focus on him. Not anymore. No, my gaze is locked on Charlotte. She's the one I need to understand. She's the one who saw it all, the cracks, the lies, the betrayal. She's the one who knew the truth before I did. How did she know? How could she see it when I was so blind? The room is still, but I feel the pressure of every eye in the courtroom, all waiting for me to respond, for something to happen. My voice comes out in a whisper, barely above the hum of the silent room, and yet it feels like I'm screaming. "Charlotte." I try again, my voice shaking, 1,000 emotions swirling inside me. "Why didn't you tell me? Why didn't you say anything?" She doesn't flinch. She doesn't look away. Her gaze is steady, almost unblinking. But there's something there, a mixture of sadness and resolve that twists in my chest. "I didn't want to make it worse," she says softly, her voice low but clear. "I thought you could fix it, but you didn't. You never saw it. You were too focused on holding on to the idea of what you wanted, not the reality of what it was." Her words sting, cutting through me like a knife. I open my mouth to respond, but the words fail me. I did try. I tried so hard to keep everything together, to keep the family intact, to hold on to the man I thought I could trust, the man I thought I loved. But the truth is, I never saw it. I never saw how broken we really were. I never saw how deeply Sebastian had already moved on. And I never saw how Charlotte, my daughter, my little girl, had been suffering in silence, carrying this weight all on her own. "I didn't know, darling," I say, my voice cracking, tears threatening to spill over. "I didn't know. I thought it was all going to be okay. I thought if I just tried harder, it would all work out." My words hang in the air between us, thick and suffocating. I thought I was doing the right thing. I thought I was protecting her, but I didn't protect her, did I? I couldn't even protect myself. I had been so caught up in trying to fix something that was already broken that I failed to see what was right in front of me. Charlotte looks at me, her face softening, but there's still a wall there. I don't think she can look at me the same way anymore, not after all of this. And I don't know if I can look at myself the same way either. "I didn't want to hurt you, Mom," she says, her voice quieter now, the edge of sadness still present, but mixed with something deeper, something stronger. "But you weren't seeing the truth, and I couldn't just let you keep pretending. I couldn't just stand by and watch you drown in it." The room feels even quieter now. The weight of her words presses down on me like a physical force, and for the first time in a long time, I feel completely and utterly lost. How did I not see it? How did I miss the signs? I look back at Sebastian, his head still lowered. His guilt is written all over him, but it's too late for that. It's too late for apologies. His betrayal has already destroyed everything. And now, in front of all these strangers, in front of the man who once promised me everything, I'm forced to confront the reality of what I missed, what I allowed to happen. But it's Charlotte's face. I keep seeing her eyes filled with pain, with understanding, with regret. Regret that she had to grow up too fast. Regret that she had to be the one to bear witness to the destruction of our family. I thought I was protecting her, but I wasn't. I was blind to the cracks in the foundation, to the lies that Sebastian had built his world on. "I'm sorry, Charlotte," I whisper, the tears finally slipping free from my eyes. I want to say more, but I don't know what words could ever be enough. How could they ever make up for the years of lies, the years of pretending that everything was fine when it so clearly wasn't? Charlotte doesn't speak again. She doesn't need to. Her silence is everything. It says more than any words could. And as I stand there, my heart in pieces, I realize that I may never be able to fix this. The judge clears his throat, breaking the stillness. "Enough," he says, his voice stern. This court is here to settle the divorce, not to delve into personal matters that do not concern this proceeding. Let's focus on the matter at hand. But it's already too late. The truth has been exposed, and nothing can erase what has just been revealed. I've lost everything, not just my marriage, but my sense of self, my family, my daughter. This isn't just about the divorce, I say, my voice trembling, but filled with a newfound strength. This is about everything, about all the lies. We need the truth to come out now. We need to know what's been hidden from us for all these years. My words echo in the courtroom, and for the first time in a long while, I feel like I'm not just fighting for a divorce, I'm fighting for my life, for my dignity, for the truth. The judge looks at me, his expression hardening. "I will call for a recess," he says, his gavel slamming down with finality. "We will reconvene shortly." As the room slowly empties, I remain standing, my legs unsteady, my heart racing. The weight of everything I've just learned, everything I've just exposed, feels like it's crushing me from all sides. How could I have been so blind? How could I have failed my daughter in this way? How could I have allowed myself to believe that everything was fine when it so clearly wasn't? And as I turn to leave the courtroom, my mind a blur of confusion and heartache, I realize one undeniable truth. I don't know what happens next. I don't know how to fix any of this, but I do know that I won't stop fighting for what's left. I won't stop fighting for her. The recess feels like an eternity. The air in the courtroom is thick, oppressive, and I feel it pressing in on me, squeezing the breath from my lungs. I sit there, clutching my purse so tightly that my knuckles have turned white. My legs are restless beneath the table, bouncing nervously, while my mind races, replaying everything I've just witnessed. Charlotte's face, the video, Sebastian's guilt. I look over at him again, and this time, his eyes are cast downward. He's sitting on the edge of his seat, staring at the table like he wishes the world would just swallow him whole. I almost want to laugh, but there's no humor left in me. Not after everything. There's nothing left but a gnawing anger deep in my gut, a fiery rage that refuses to be extinguished. How dare he? How dare he sit there and act like he's been wronged, like the pain he caused me doesn't matter? The affair wasn't just a betrayal of me, it was a betrayal of our family, of Charlotte. And now, in this cold, sterile courtroom, I'm left to face the truth. The truth that I've spent years denying. The truth that Charlotte had been living with, silently, for far too long. It wasn't just the affair. It was everything. The lies, the gaslighting, the manipulation. Sebastian had slowly, piece by piece, chipped away at me, and I didn't even see it. He made me believe everything was fine when it wasn't. He made me doubt myself, made me question my own instincts, my own worth, and I let him. I allowed it. I turned my gaze back to him, but this time, it's different. I'm not angry in the way I was before. I'm not furious at the man who betrayed me. I'm angry at the me that allowed this to happen. I'm angry at the version of myself that kept trying to fix everything, that kept pretending we could turn it around when we both knew it was broken beyond repair. I thought I could keep everything together. I thought I could fix it. I thought love was enough. But I was wrong. I was so wrong. The anger inside me feels like it could consume me whole. The ache in my chest doesn't go away. It doesn't fade. And I know now that the betrayal isn't just about Sebastian anymore. It's about me too. It's about the years I spent believing that if I just worked hard enough, if I just loved him enough, everything would fall into place. But love isn't enough when the foundation is built on lies. And now, with every passing second, I realize more and more that the betrayal wasn't just Sebastian's. It was mine too. The way I ignored the signs, the way I buried my doubts, the way I let him convince me everything was fine. I let him have the power. And now, here I am, a woman who has to face the fallout of that, along with the painful truth of what's become of my family. But it's not just about Sebastian and me anymore. It's about Charlotte and what this has done to her, what she's had to endure, the way she's had to grow up faster than she should have, the way she's had to witness the destruction of her family. She's seen everything, felt everything, and I don't know how I'll ever be able to make that right. I glance over at her. She's sitting a few rows back, her hands clasped tightly in her lap. She's so much like me, strong, silent, determined, but I see the weariness in her eyes. The same weariness I feel in my own heart. I can't protect her from the truth anymore. I can't shield her from the pain, the mess of it all. All I can do is be here for her, in whatever way that's possible now. But even as I think this, I know the damage has already been done. The illusion of a perfect family, the image I spent so many years trying to maintain, that is gone now. There's no fixing it. Not the way I thought I could. A sudden rush of emotions overwhelms me, and I feel a tear slip down my cheek. I wipe it away quickly, but it doesn't stop the ache. Nothing can stop it now. The judge's voice cuts through the silence, announcing the end of the recess. I stand up mechanically, my body stiff, like it's operating on autopilot. My heart is still racing, my mind spinning with the weight of everything I've just learned, everything that's been exposed. But I have to face this. I have to confront it. I turn to Charlotte, who is now standing by the door, waiting for me. Her eyes meet mine, and for a brief moment, I see something there, something fragile. I can't quite place it, but it's there, hidden behind the strength she's trying so desperately to maintain. I approach her slowly, my voice barely above a whisper. I don't know how to fix this, I say, the words tasting bitter on my tongue, but I will never stop trying to be your mother. Charlotte doesn't answer immediately. She looks at me, her expression unreadable, and for a moment, I wonder if she'll say anything at all. Finally, she speaks, her voice quiet but resolute. Maybe it's not about fixing it, Mum, she says. Maybe it's about letting go. Her words hit me like a thunderclap, and for a moment, I'm speechless. Letting go. The idea hangs in the air between us, like a challenge, a question I don't know how to answer. Could I ever let go of this, of the family I thought I had, of the life I thought I could save? Can I truly accept that some things can't be fixed, no matter how hard I try? I don't know. I don't know if I can, but I know one thing. I can't keep pretending. I can't keep holding on to the illusion of what was. It's time to face the truth, no matter how painful it is. The gavel sounds, and the hearing resumes. My heart is pounding in my chest, my thoughts scattered, but in this moment, I know that the decision I make here and now will define everything that comes after. This is it. It's time for the truth to come out. The full, unvarnished truth. I've spent too long hiding from it, but I can't run anymore. I stand up straighter, my voice trembling with determination, as I turn to face the judge. This isn't just about the divorce, I say, the words coming out raw but steady. This is about everything, about all the lies. We need the truth to come out now. It's the only way we can move forward. The courtroom falls silent again. Every eye is on me, and I know with absolute certainty that this is my moment. The moment when everything changes. No more hiding, no more lies. I can't protect anyone anymore, least of all myself. But the truth will set us all free, or tear us apart. The gavel comes down with a thunderous crack that seems to echo in the very bones of the courtroom. The judge looks up at me, his expression stern, unreadable, as if he's just witnessed the collapse of a world he's never known, and I can't tell if he's sympathetic or just exhausted by the mess we've made of this. His voice cuts through the heavy silence, dull and final. Based on the testimony provided and the evidence presented, I hereby declare that the divorce between Sebastian Hawthorne and Eleanor Hawthorne is granted. The dissolution of the marriage is final. The words hang in the air, sinking in like cold, hard stones. They are the words I've been waiting for, the words I've needed for months. But now that they've been said, they carry with them a bitter sense of finality. There's no joy in it, no satisfaction, only a quiet emptiness. The fight is over. The battle for a marriage I thought was worth saving has come to its inevitable conclusion. Sebastian is no longer my husband. He's just a man who once was. But I can't focus on him. Not now. Not when I feel Charlotte's presence beside me, like a soft weight in the air. She's been silent through the entire hearing, her gaze steady, never once wavering. She's been so much stronger than I ever imagined, more resilient than I could have been in her shoes. For a moment, I think the world might just stop, that we'll all be frozen in this horrible limbo, waiting for something, anything, to shift. But it doesn't. The court is moving again. People are gathering their things, the murmurs of hushed conversations filling the space, but I feel detached from it all. I don't belong here anymore. Not in this life. Not in this place. Charlotte doesn't look at Sebastian, doesn't even acknowledge him. And for that, I'm grateful. There's nothing left for either of us in him. Not anymore. I stand up slowly, my knees stiff beneath me. I want to turn away, to leave, but I look down at Charlotte, who is still sitting, watching the scene unfold with a level of calm that unnerves me. She seems so distant, yet so composed, like the ground beneath her feet is no longer the one I know. She's not my little girl anymore. She's a woman in the making, hardened by a life that wasn't supposed to be hers. How could I have let this happen? Charlotte, I say, my voice hoarse from everything I've been holding in. I want to apologize, but I don't know where to begin. Are you okay? She looks at me then, her gaze soft but guarded, and for the first time today, I see something that I can't explain. Maybe it's the end of something of our shared history, of all the lies we've lived through. Or maybe it's the beginning of something else, a shift, a crack in the foundation. I'm fine, Mom, she replies quietly, but there's a certain finality in her words. I don't know if she means it, but I don't push it. Not now. Not when I can feel the weight of everything we've both been through. The judge's voice again interrupts the room's quiet hum. You are both free to leave. I suggest you consult with your respective attorneys regarding the final paperwork. The court is adjourned. With those words, the room begins to empty, and I make my way toward the door, Charlotte walking beside me, her footsteps in time with mine. Neither of us speak. There's no need to. As we step out of the courtroom and into the hallway, the sunlight pours through the windows, bathing everything in a warm golden light. The air feels different, fresher, clearer, like something has been released from the atmosphere. Maybe it's just me, but for the first time in months, I feel like I can breathe. We don't stop walking until we reach the car, and then Charlotte slides into the passenger seat without a word. I get in behind the wheel, my hands still shaking slightly as I grip the steering wheel. But it's not fear anymore. It's something else, something new. The anger that had been boiling inside me has settled, and the ache that had been constant for so long is quieter now. I don't know if I'm healing, but I know I'm not as broken as I was. The silence in the car is comfortable, somehow. We don't need to fill it with words. There's an understanding between us now, a shared moment of clarity that has replaced the tension. The divorce is over, the lies have been exposed, and everything is different. But that's okay, because we're still here. We've survived this. Charlotte finally speaks, breaking the silence. Mom, do you think we'll be okay? I glance over at her quickly, my heart clenching. Her eyes are on the road ahead, but I see the vulnerability in them, the cracks that she's been hiding. She's stronger than she knows, but I see the cracks in me too. I don't know, darling, I say softly, my voice steady, even though my heart feels like it's about to burst. I don't know what the future holds, but I do know one thing. We have each other, and I'm not going anywhere. Not now, not ever. She turns to me then, her lips curving into a small, hesitant smile. It's the first smile I've seen on her face in weeks, maybe months, and it's like a spark of hope, a flicker of light in a dark room. We'll be okay, Mom, she says, her voice barely above a whisper, but I hear it all the same. We just have to keep going. And for the first time since all of this began, I feel that spark of hope too. Not for Sebastian, not for the marriage we once had, but for myself, for Charlotte, for our future. I don't know what that future will look like. I don't know how we'll rebuild everything that's been shattered. But I do know this. I'm not doing it alone anymore. Charlotte is beside me, and that's enough. As I drive away from the courthouse, the city stretching out before me, I realize that this isn't the end. It's just the beginning. If you're going through the storm, remember, you are not defined by the pain or the betrayal you've faced. Healing takes time, but it starts with one brave step, choosing to rise, to rebuild, and to believe that your future can be brighter than your past. You're stronger than you know, and even in the darkest moments, there is always hope for a new beginning. Keep moving forward, one day at a time. You've got this. If this story touched you, don't miss out on the next story. Please subscribe now to keep following more stories and turn on the notification bell to get exclusive updates straight to your inbox. Your support helps me keep creating these stories that speak to the heart.